Nvidia stock might face more pushback from US regulators regarding its AI chips. Today, we're going to take a closer look at 4 semiconductor news that every semiconductor and Nvidia investor should know. But before we get started, make sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe button to be informed about the most important sector in the space, the semiconductor market. Now, on today's episode, we will do the following. First, take a closer look at an important event happening this week. Next, we're going to look at those regulator troubles. Third, we're going to look at Intel and buyout rumors and investment rumors. And finally, we're going to end with Nvidia's Blackwell and how it could be accelerating the liquid cooling market. So let's get started.
I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
All right, so first let's take a look at one of the big events happening this week in the semiconductor space, and that is going to be Micron, the memory giant. They are reporting their fourth quarter earnings on September 25th of 2024, so that is this upcoming Wednesday. Micron is definitely a stock that has taken quite a hit from its year-to-date high. We've seen that the stock is down nearly 40%. I did a video on this last week. Make sure to check it out, my overall thoughts on Micron. But I believe that the earnings is going to be very important, not just for the memory market, but they do share a lot and a lot of great insight about the overall semiconductor space. So if you are curious on how Nvidia might be doing, or maybe how some of your other favorite semiconductor companies might be doing, I believe Micron is going to be able to paint a nice picture of at least these past few months. So make sure to keep that in your watch list, and I'll definitely cover it on Wednesday after the company reports. Now, the second thing we're going to take a closer look at is there are reports that Nvidia's H20 AI accelerator, and for those that are not familiar, Nvidia's H20 is a weaker down version of the H100, which is able to bypass US regulations and be able to be sold in countries like China. Well, the rumors are right now that the United States is planning on actually banning the H20 right now. And one of the supporting interesting reports from this rumor is that Nvidia has kind of randomly stopped taking orders of the H20. Now, obviously, this could be seen as a bearish case for Nvidia as it continues to pushes down its Chinese market revenue potential. But I want to say right now, I believe most of the rumors of US regulations on the H20 is based on the speculations that the company has kind of canceled the orders in China. I personally believe there might be another reason. Obviously, those reports could be right, but I also want to give an alternative reasoning why they might be stopping the H20 sales. So we are hearing reports that Nvidia's 4090, for example, is becoming more expensive in certain parts of the world, especially in Europe, as inventory is mostly running out. And you might be wondering, Jose, what does the RTX 4090, which is GPU for the gaming market, have to do with the H20, which is a GPU for the data center market in China? The Nvidia RTX 4090 uses the AD102 GPU chipset. And based on a quick Google, it does seem like Nvidia's H20 also uses that same GPU chipset of the AD102. So based on these two notes that Nvidia is slowing down their 4090 and also might be halting sales of the H20, it might be possible that right now Nvidia is just slowing down the manufacturing of its AD102 GPU as it is focusing maybe on the next generation of chips. So maybe it is going to be reducing some of its manufacturing line, and the H20 might be a line that is, while might be making revenue, it might be okay to kind of offset with something newer in the future. So obviously we're going to have to wait to see if regulations do come true, but I just wanted to provide another potential reason for the H20 slowdown right now. All right, the third topic I want to take a closer look at, and if you are enjoying the episode, make sure to hit the thumbs up, is Intel. So Intel has been having a nice few days. I had a nice few days, right? In the past 5 days, the stock is up roughly 3.8%. And from its 5-day low, the stock is already up over 10%, sitting at $22.56. So I have shared my thoughts of Intel in the past, especially with the recent updates. Make sure to check that video out. Again, this is the best place for any semiconductor news. But in the past few days, we've heard a lot of rumors of Intel and potential buyout rumors and potential investment rumors. The first buyout rumor we've heard was maybe Qualcomm was going to purchase Intel. I personally believe that's not going to be the case. I don't think Intel is really looking to sell. I don't think it has a need to sell right now. Obviously, the business is doing bad, but it's not game over for the company just yet. Now, there are reports that came in earlier this week that Apollo is rumoring to increase their investment in Intel. So previously, this company already had an investment of Intel where they had about a 49% equity interest in the joint venture for one of Intel's manufacturing plant in Ireland, which focuses on advanced manufacturing facilities for semiconductor companies. So I think if we might see potential of this happening again for maybe another fab, either here in the United States in some of the plants that are being built here. So if this is the case, this is just more money going into Intel, and it's definitely great news if it does happen. In the upcoming days, I want to do a video on my overall thoughts on Intel. If you want me to do that, make sure to hit the thumbs up and let me know in the comments below if that's a topic you want to listen to, especially what I believe is Intel's most important thing to move in the future and why it might be successful. I'm not saying it's going to be successful, but why it could be successful. So overall, that's what we hear from Intel right now. I believe this stock sitting at under $100 billion seems very interesting, and we are getting a lot of rumors of buyouts and investments. And if big people are trying to make it at this valuation, in my opinion, it says, Jose, keep a closer eye on this company right now. Now, the final topic I want to take a closer look at is TrendForce believes that the liquid cooling market is going to increase dramatically in 2025. It's going to grow from 10% in 2024 to over 20% in 2025. The main reason is a lot of these big cloud service providers are prompting a shift from air cooling to liquid cooling as chips are getting more expensive, are getting hotter and more power hungry, and it's becoming more efficient to do liquid cooling instead. Now, obviously, liquid cooling comes with a lot of risk, especially since it's such a new market. A lot of validation needs to happen. But right now, with Nvidia's Grace Blackwell 200 system, this is going to be a system that is going to require efficient cooling, and it is going to be pushing more that boundaries of the liquid cooling market. So this is obviously going to push cloud service providers to really focus more into the liquid cooling market within themselves. So here's a quick image that TrendForce provided, which I think is pretty helpful on key component suppliers for liquid solutions in AI servers. So there's 5 main components based on TrendForce. The first is quick disconnect. The second is manifold. The third is cold plate. The fourth is rear door heat exchanger. And finally, the coolant distribution unit. In my opinion, obviously this is a market where it's more of a hardware to some extent, so margins are going to be lower. Now, the more niche the market is, I think obviously the better that market opportunity might be. So for me, right off the bat, there are 3 segments that I would personally push away and not really care too much about. That would be the quick disconnect, the manifold, and the cold plate. I used to work at a company, and these are products that I would find from various vendors. Now, there are 2 that I believe obviously there's a lot of competition, but do have maybe a harder to manufacture, a little bit extra moat compared to those 3 that I mentioned. I'm not saying these are ones with extreme moats, but at least harder than the manifold and the cold plate. The first is going to be the rear door heat exchanger, and the second is going to be the coolant distribution unit. Now, there are 2 companies that you can trade here in the United States that are in this space, and I want you to let me know in the comments below if you want me to do a deep dive on them. The first one is going to be Vertiv, ticker VRT, and right now it has a market cap of $36 billion. We can see year to date the stock is doing amazing, up over 110%. And we can see they are ones that provide coolant distribution unit, as well as I believe other power solutions for the data center space. Now, the second one is Delta. Originally, I thought Delta Electronics was traded here in the United States, and I was wrong. This is a Taiwanese company. So obviously with the push of AI space and with liquid cooling, everybody's trying to find the next new investment in this space. Like I mentioned, pretty much like AI servers, components like this are not ones I would personally invest on. The only one I really am curious about is Vertiv because it is United States based and they do provide kind of that very unique solution with coolant distribution unit, as well as some other solutions in the power space. That doesn't mean it's a buy. It's more like, hey, look, I want to do more research on this. Now, the only way I personally would ever invest in anything within this market is if they are in the very, 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 very low macro cap companies where they're super small companies and can obviously benefit dramatically with the huge inflow of orders from AI server suppliers. But huge companies already, in my opinion, obviously can benefit, but I would rather focus on companies like Nvidia that are providing a more harder niche market in the market that has a stronger moat compared to some of these component suppliers. So that's all I have for today's episode. I hope you guys did enjoy it. I was away for the past few days on vacation, so I'm gonna go back into the grind, and I hope you guys did enjoy the episode. So take care, have a good day, and see you next time.